This segment of JTV News is brought to you by Clarence Thomas Limited, Infinite Solutions, and Caribbean Sellers.
The Cayman Islands has opted not to sign a fiscal policy document put forward by the UK government that seeks to control spending in the overseas territory. The United Kingdom government has asked the government of the Cayman Islands to sign a mutually agreed framework for fiscal responsibility. Premier Makiva Bush said they have decided to continue negotiations with the Foreign and Commonwealth Office in light of concerns with some of the recommendations. The UK's proposed framework for fiscal responsibility was developed by economists in the FCO on 4 basic tenets. It stipulates the government should undertake effective medium-term planning, put value for money considerations at the heart of the decision-making process, demonstrate effective management of risk, and should drive the delivery of improved accountability in all public sector operations. According to Premier Bush, such an agreement has the potential to impact not only the government's financial policy making, but the territory's broader economic status and the government's overall performance in terms of good governance. The review is expected to be featured prominently in discussions this week between the Premier and the UK government. St. Lucia has observed a National Day of Remembrance to honor the memory of those who died in the tragic automobile accident that claimed the lives of 19 people.
The island recorded one of the worst accidents in St. Lucia's history. 15 people are reportedly dead as a result of a tragic accident involving a minibus traveling in the Monsieur area in Choiseul. HTS News understands that the driver was unable to negotiate a sharp hairpin bend and lost control of the vehicle, which plunged off a cliff and crashed into the sea below. There were bodies and remains strewn about the crash site. The twisted metal of the minibus was lodged into the shoreline. The victims of the collision were reportedly on their way home from a funeral service when the tragedy occurred. A panic and grief-stricken crowd looked on in shock and disbelief at the sheer magnitude of the carnage on the beachfront in Choiseul Thursday night. St. Lucia observed the National Day of Remembrance to honor the memory of those who died in the horrific Monsieur bus crash. Prime Minister Stephen King, whose birthday ironically was on Sunday, called on St. Lucians to use the tragedy to strengthen the unity of the nation.
I feel very sad by the nature of the tragedy. The fact that an entire family seemed to have vanished in one single accident. The fact that 4 families have been affected by one single family. And the fact that 19 brothers and sisters of ours have disappeared in one single accident.
Prime Minister Stephen King says the government of St. Lucia will provide whatever support that is necessary, including financial, during this difficult period. Desmond Collymore, HTS News, Channel 4.
Caribbean Airlines would soon begin replacing its aircraft fleet as it moves to add passenger capacity and develop new routes. The airline has received the first of 9 ATR 72-600 aircraft booked earlier this year under a $200 million valued contract with a manufacturer based in France.
Months after entering into an agreement with Air Jamaica, Caribbean Airlines is now moving ahead with a fleet change. On Monday, the airline officially welcomed the arrival of its first ATR 72-600 aircraft. Speaking at the official launch, Transport Minister Devon Maharaj says in addition to upgrading its fleet, Caribbean Airlines is also looking at the possibility of introducing 2 routes out of Kingston, possibly Chicago and Atlanta. And as London gets ready to host the 2012 Olympics, Minister Maharaj says by June next year the Gatwick route will be reopened. In addition, he says negotiations are ongoing for other routes including Nigeria and India.
And I'm pleased to announce that very shortly we'll be able to announce that we will once again begin flying to London in June 2012 through Gatwick. We'll also be exploring routes to Nigeria and India, and we have already started on the feasibility study to South Africa.
Chairman of Caribbean Airlines, George Nicholas, boasts that the airline made a $200 million profit. He says $5 from each ticket sold will go to the Children's Life Fund.
We are pleased to be giving $5 for every passenger to the Prime Minister's Trinidad and Tobago Children's Life Fund, a life-saving program that we call Under Our Wings.
Vice President of Maintenance and Engineering, Colville Carrington, says 9 ATRs were ordered and they're expected to arrive one a month over the next 8 months. For CNC3, I am Otto Carrington.
A U.S. Customs and Border Protection vessel in the U.S. Virgin Islands intercepted a vessel with 10 bales totaling 321.8 kilos or 709.4 pounds of cocaine near French Cap Key. Shortly after midnight on Friday, November 11th, a maritime surveillance aircraft detected a vessel without navigation lights. The vessel stopped in French Cap Key, where 2 of the 3 individuals on board jumped in the water and swam toward the island. They appeared to be carrying packages to shore. After they finished stashing the packages, they left the island and headed east towards the south of St. John Island. U.S. Customs and Border Protection intercepted the vessel and the 3 individuals were arrested. Officials seized 10 bales of cocaine weighing 321.8 kilos with an estimated street value of $8,045,000. This is Walter Barrett for JTV News.